And here you are, caught in the middle of it, thinking you're the savior, the one who's different, the one who will finally win her heart for real. You think, if I just love her harder, if I prove myself more, if I give her everything she says she needs, maybe this time it'll work. But that's not how projection works. Jung said projection is a thief. It steals reality. It replaces what is with what someone wants to see. And as long as both people are living in illusion, her projecting the fantasy, you performing to match it, the relationship becomes a slow-motion tragedy. The heartbreak isn't just emotional, it's existential. Because one day, that woman who once called you her hero will turn and treat you like the villain. Not because you changed, but because you failed to match the fantasy she cast you in. And the cruel irony? She won't even know she's doing it. She'll say you let her down. You became someone else. You changed. But the truth? You were never the character she imagined. And that's what she resents. Not your flaws, not your humanity, but the collapse of the myth she never told you she needed you to play. Jung didn't offer false hope about this. He said this kind of psychological betrayal is inevitable when neither party has done their inner work. When no one has taken responsibility for their own unconscious. You didn't betray her. You just stopped acting. You failed to play the invisible role she'd written in her head. And that, to her unconscious, is unforgivable. Not because she's cruel, but because the fantasy was all she had. And you were never told you were just the stand-in. Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." And nowhere is this more true than in romance. We don't walk into relationships as full people. We walk in as projections, carrying childhood wounds, unmet needs, and unlived parts of ourselves, hoping the other person will fix it all. You call it love. Jung called it possession. And like a man under a spell, you keep walking into the same trap, thinking, this one will be different. But it never is. Because you haven't yet asked yourself the scariest question of all. What if I'm the one responsible for the pattern? You want to blame women, call them manipulative, shallow, unpredictable. But Jung wouldn't let you off the hook that easy. He'd look you in the eye and ask, why did you choose her? What wound made her seem familiar? Why did you ignore the red flags? Because the man who hasn't explored his own feminine energy, his anima, is doomed to be enslaved by hers. You're not a victim. You're a volunteer. You chose to audition for her play. You chose the role. You stayed in it, long after the curtain should have closed. Because the alternative, confronting your own emptiness, felt more terrifying than playing pretend. And this right here, is where most men check out. Because this is where the comfort ends, and the responsibility begins. Jung didn't give men a cheat code. He gave them a mission. One filled with silence, solitude, and self-confrontation. No shortcuts. No alpha male tricks. Just a long, slow, brutal war against illusion. You'll sit in rooms alone, trembling, hearing the voice in your head scream that you're worthless without her, that no man can be complete without the approval of a woman, that you need her. But Jung's whisper will be louder. It will say, the man who stands alone, without applause, without validation, is the only one who is free. Free from projection, free from performance, free from chasing a reflection of his abandoned self. And here's the wildest twist. When you reach that place, that raw, grounded, real version of yourself, women will feel more drawn to you than ever before. Not because you need them, but because you don't. You won't be reaching. You won't be chasing. You'll be standing, rooted, clear, unshakable. And she'll sense it. She'll feel the difference, even if she can't name it. And in that moment, you won't try to own her. You won't try to change her. You won't try to fix her. Because now, you understand. She's on her own journey. She has to confront her animus. She has to wake up from her own illusions. She has to choose whether or not to grow. And that's not your job. You can't save her. All you can do is what Jung did. Walk your path with such clarity, such fearlessness, that your very presence becomes a mirror that reflects back what others are too scared to face. And yes, most people will hate you for it. They'll mock you, mislabel you, call you emotionally unavailable, too distant, too serious. But they're not actually offended by you. They're offended by your freedom. Because once you stop playing their game, they don't know what to do with you. You're no longer castable, no longer shapeable. You've stopped being a character in someone else's movie. You've become real. And real men, thoughtful, terrify people who are still living in illusion. Jung once said that the gods have become diseases. The same energies ancient cultures worshipped, the archetypes of love, war, death, rebirth, now live in our unconscious, showing up as neuroses, anxiety, and compulsions. And men who chase validation? They are the most spiritually sick of all. You think you're being romantic when you say things like, "I'd do anything for her," or "She's my everything." But Jung would shake his head and say, "You've just handed her your soul, because you're too afraid to carry it yourself." It's easier to make a woman your meaning, your purpose, your reason to exist, because if she holds it, you don't have to. But here's the twist. No woman can carry that weight, and eventually she'll drop it. Not because she's cruel, because she has to, because she was never meant to be the container for your wholeness. And when she lets go, sad, you'll feel betrayed, abandoned. But that moment, that collapse, is actually a gift. Because now you're forced to confront the truth. The work of becoming a man, it was never hers to do. It was always yours. And now, you're finally out of excuses.